What is going on, guys? MMA Island team. We got the fight picks. We got the first fight of the night in Cole Smith taking on Hunter Azure. Both of these guys were undefeated until their last fight where they both got their first loss. So both of these guys looking to avenge their first loss. But I will pass it on to Zach to start us off.
The Cole train running back into the station. Cole Smith, one of the absolute biggest bantamweights you will ever see, just capping out at just under 6 feet at 135 pounds. And you look at these guys, and they've had very similar UFC careers. In their first fight, they take on a Canadian, whether it be Brad Katona, Mitch Gagnon, win the fight, and they get a step up in competition and then lose. Miles Johns to Cole Smith, and Brian Kelleher is fighting later in the night to Hunter Azure. But the Brian Kelleher fight with Hunter Azure was very, very interesting because a lot of people are like remembering the great performance from Brian Kelleher. Well, it was just the finish. Let's remember that Hunter Azure was absolutely teeing off on Brian Kelleher. He was hitting him bad, beating him up. I'm pretty sure the finish was in the second round. The narrative around that, it was a big comeback for Kelleher. And the reason why Azure lost is because he gassed out. And he said afterwards that he's going to work on his cardio problems because that's the one thing that he really doesn't have. And I'm inclined to believe him. Now, Cole Smith, we know what he does. He's a very solid wrestle boxer. He uses his size to bully his opponents and also keep them at range. So we know what he's going to – I think he's going to try and take the fight to the ground as soon as he can because Hunter Azure is the better volume striker, I believe. But I'm not sure how long he can keep up the pace that he has to, like with the chain wrestling that he's going to try. I'm not sure if he can keep up that pace for 3 rounds, and I eventually do see him getting caught, and I do see him getting outlanded by Hunter Azure. Because if he can land with the same volume that he was doing against Kelleher and the same volume he was doing against Katona, and that he showed in the Contender Series, then yeah, I have all reason to believe that Hunter Azure is going to win this fight by decision.
Yeah, so I'll have to agree with you. Both of me taking Hunter Azure in this one. A couple reasons for mine. So I think the first thing people look at, if you don't crazily look into the stats, if you just saw these two side by side face-offs, it's going to be evident, definitely. But these two guys have a very big difference in height. Cole Smith is 5'11". That's huge, especially at 135. Hunter Azure 5'8". One thing that people don't know is you look at Cole Smith's last fight and his last loss. It's kind of tough to say who won that fight. That third round is pretty much just Cole Smith holding up against the cage. So you can't. It's really, really tough with Miles Johns. But Miles Johns is actually 5'7". Hunter Azure is 5'8". So he is a little bit taller. And looking at that fight with Cole Smith and Cole Smith and Miles Johns, Miles Johns was able to outland him. Cole Smith was hitting at 19% significant strike percentage, and only 1 for 6 on his takedowns. So can you really even give a fight to a guy where he has 19% striking accuracy and 16% takedown accuracy? Really didn't do anything dominantly in that fight. I think when you look at Cole Smith's game as a whole, the main thing that he does is he likes to get the guy's back, and kind of just be control the fighter, get it to the cage usually, kind of as you mentioned, just close the distance, try to get a takedown. And Hunter Azure's takedown defense is absolutely great. Looking at Brian Kelleher, which I think is a big talking point in this fight, not only because he's on the card, but just to talk about Brian Kelleher with his fight against Hunter Azure. Obviously, we're not going to take anything away from Brian Kelleher here. He knocked him out. It was a great shot. Can't really take anything away from him, but to be honest, Hunter Azure was outpointing him for the most part. Kelleher shot 4 times on Hunter Azure. Hunter Azure stuffed all of them. Very, very impressive to do that in your first or your second fight in the UFC. It's a tough ask to take on Brian Kelleher. Brian Kelleher, as people know, is a Dana White Contender Series killer. So going to have to lead towards Hunter Azure here, just because I don't really think that Cole Smith has really fought the sort of volume striker to the degree of Hunter Azure. I just think that Cole Smith is going to kind of have troubles with the striking. He had troubles in the Johns fight. I just think that Hunter Azure is just going to kind of piece him up. I don't really know if I can go finish. I think I got a decision's a pretty safe pick as well. just have Hunter Azure, but being the more active striker, which he has been in most of his fights, and then it's kind of been the opposite for Cole Smith. He's not really so much known for his striking. He likes to pin guys up against the cage. He has very good transitions when it gets to that place. But like I said, I don't really think he's ever fought a guy with the takedown defense and the striking volume as Hunter Azure does. So it's kind of a pretty bad mix up of the skills that Hunter Azure has. So I just think he's going to be a problem for Cole Smith. I think he's going to get just kind of piece him up towards a decision. But hey, who knows, man? Maybe Hunter Azure just doesn't come out in his game, and Cole Smith is able to grab onto him, take his back, take him down, choke him out in the first or second round. Who knows? But I got Hunter Azure on this one. Zach's got Hunter Azure on this one. We want to know who you guys got in the first fight of the night. Show you're not just a casual and you're looking through every single fight on the card. The first fight of the night. Give your prediction. Let's see if you guys can get started off with the first fight of the night right. Like I said, man, just make sure you guys are liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and make sure you guys also check out the other Fight Pick videos.